Let's start off here with Decidueye.
Does this motherfucker already got the love not that long ago?
Yeah, he did get a Hisuian form. Chestnut, in my opinion, was such a lackluster starter.
I know where this is going.
They sat down in the Game Freak meeting board and they're like, okay, we fucked up. So we have to overcompensate.
This shit is live now. We can't go back.
It resulted in, I think, the best designed grass starter there ever was. And excluding the middle evolution, because Rowlet is just one of the cutest fucking starters I've ever seen in my life, dude.
The grass starter side or in general?
In general. Outside of Pokemon, this is just excellent in every single way. Decidueye is a Pokemon that was in a Legends game already.
Yeah, they're like, hey, maybe we can cook something else, but I don't know.
Yeah, but the Hisuian form it's gonna make me say no. Forgive me when I ramble on here because I have some words about this Pokemon in particular.
Okay.
Incineroar is arguably the best Pokemon ever made.
Competitive-wise?
Competitive-wise, yes. Design-wise, that's up to the opinion of others. If you throw this Pokemon in VGC, it is always going to excel. It is dominant in every single format. Every time it goes in there, it's dominant right now. It's used in every single team. Game Freak has shown in the past that they love this Pokemon. It's in Smash Bros. It's everywhere. During this round of Mega Evolutions, I don't think it's going to get it, but it will down the line. You got anything to say about this piece of shit cat that's on every single fucking team? I hate this motherfucker, dude.
Hey, how good he is.
It's because, like, if you see Incineroar, you have to play around him. And if you ignore him for too long, if you're trying to take out Restricteds, he's going to fake out in front of you. He's going to attack in front of you, and there's really nothing you could do about it. Incineroar, no for now, yes later.
Fair enough.
Primarina. The only thing I could really think about Primarina is not even about this Pokemon in particular. It's about its first state evolution. Poplio. Do you remember the Poplio defense squad?
No.
When Poplio got revealed, they're like, oh, Rowlet's cool. Litten is cool. Poplio, what the fuck is this Pokemon? And they hated on it, and this whole Poplio defense squad came about. I think Primarina can get it.
It's been neglected so long already.
It's been neglected for a long time. I mean, the typing for Primarina is incredibly good, and they could accentuate that with having a Mega.
Fairy is already a good typing now, and water is just like very dominant / relevant fucking type as well.
And its design does leave something to be desired, and they can make those alterations with a Mega. So I'm gonna say yes, man. I'm glad they chose a different kind of bird for this, but it just looks too much like the original. I feel like they should have just changed it in the slightest bit. Dude, when this thing does its Z move, it just stays completely static, and it looks pretty fucking bad.
Yeah.
Final verdict on Toucannon, because Toucannon, really? You think so?
Fine as it is.
Yeah, let's move on to Gumshoos. This had to be inspired by Donald Trump, right?
They claim that it wasn't, but
fuck, I can't believe they did this, dude.
they're so savage for that. One of those mons that's just there to fill in the deck.
Arguably, you could say that with Linoon, but look what they did to him.
The same thing with the Eradicate line. They gave him the regional form for the first time.
All right, I'm trying to fight for Gumshoos here, but it's just not happening. No Mega for Gumshoos. Okay. Let's talk about Vikavolt.
This is one of the most beautifulest shinies.
Wait, what? Wait, I don't think I've ever seen it shiny. Hold on. I've never seen it, man. Hold on.
Tell me that's not a gorgeous shiny.
Dude, oh man, a silver shiny. Excellent shiny. This Pokemon actually reminds me of, let me show you.
Oh shit, yes, I do remember this guy.
Yeah, this is fucking Beetlemon, bro. Okay, so I could see this being sort of like a Mega Pinsir in a way. There has to be bug-type Megas out there, man, and this should qualify as one. I'm gonna motion by saying yes, I think it deserves a Mega. Just increase the speed, man. That's all you really need to do to this Pokemon.
Sure.
Crabominable.
I'm sorry, I don't think this guy, I don't know, it's one of those ugly designs I never enjoyed. I personally don't want to give him one just because of that fact. I'm sorry.
And I'm with you. So this falls into the crab archetype. Kingler stayed as a second state evolution. Crawdont stayed as a second state evolution. Crabominable is gonna remain as it is, and nothing is gonna come of it, in my opinion.
And I agree.
And let's move on to Oricorio. What do you think?
Oricorio.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that arc. Or okay, what's your thoughts on that arc?
Okay, so that arc is completely stupid, but I love it.
I actually liked it.
Fuck, we're getting sidetracked again, motherfucker.
Damn it, bro. We gotta podcast something else.
Oricorio, is it gonna get a mega?
No, as much as I like it.
So we're now at Ribombee. I know a lot of people don't like Ribombee's design.
I don't mind it.
I actually kind of like it. In fact, I actually kind of use this on my playthrough.
Nice.
No, I personally don't think they're gonna do it.
Yeah, I believe it.
Lycanroc.
There's 3.
Oh yeah, there is 3, but fuck, shit.
Which one's your favorite out of the 3, actually?
Okay, so Midnight form is my favorite for sure.
Dude, have you seen it shiny?
It's blue, right?
Yeah, it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog. All their shinies are gorgeous.
I don't think Lycanroc is gonna get a mega.
No, it has its own specific Z move.
Yeah, Lycanroc, it has too many other forms. So technically, if they had like a Lycanroc Knight, that would be able to be used across all its forms because it's all Lycanroc technically. And I don't think they're gonna offer 3 mega slots of forms just for this particular Pokemon. Even though Game Freak has been shown to love this Pokemon, it's not gonna happen. Wishiwashi. This is what I think about Wishiwashi. It's gonna get a regional form and it's gonna have a different kind of schooling form from that. In some capacity, that's gonna happen for it, but there's no way I see a mega happening for this particular mon.
Right.
No mega for Wishiwashi. Although, what do you think about Toxapex?
If I want to give it a mega, I don't know how I would increase it. I guess it's fine design wise. I don't know, bro.
I feel like this Pokemon is not going to get a mega. What I do think they're going to do though is make this Pokemon have some kind of form, either regional or convergent form, but I don't see a mega happening for this. I'm going to vote and say no.
Yeah, probably not.
What about Mudsdale? What do you think?
It's fine design wise already. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, honestly, I can't think of a horse-like Pokemon that looks like this. I don't think it's going to get it. I feel like this Pokemon will get like a Gigantamax form, as in the Trojan horse kind of thing. But I don't see it getting a mega personally.
Makes sense to me.
Araquanid.
Bug water. It's such a unique type.
I thought this was an Ultra Beast for the longest time, man.
I don't blame you, brother.
I want to say no for this one.
Yeah.
For as much as I'm trying to give this one a mega, I can't really realistically think of one. Actually, when I look at this one, it reminds me of this. Let me show you.
Isn't it in 5Ds? One of the
Earthbound Immortals, baby.
that was a good season too.
Araquanid, let's stop beating around the bush, man. This shit isn't gonna get it whatsoever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lurantis, what do you think?
No. Only because like it just doesn't need it personally. It was a totem and that was it.
Okay, so Lurantis, pretty easy, no?
Shiinotic.
Okay, so Shiinotic is just there to be an environmental Pokemon. It's going to be found in the wild. It's going to be there to fill the decks. And that's it, man.
Fair enough.
Salazzle. It's a pretty good typing, man. Poison Fire. It's a cool design. It's a great typing, but it's incredibly frail. It just doesn't stay on the field for very long. Let's just finish by saying that Salazzle, the color palette for Salazzle is good. I like it a lot. I love the pink. I love the shiny too, surprisingly. But I'm going to say no for Salazzle for now. Bewear, man. Bewear in the anime is just one of the best things that's ever happened. I remember it went up against a fucking Pheromosa and it just fucking KO'd its ass.
Bro, that shit was hilarious.
The thing about Bewear is that it falls into the bear line of Pokemon. Beartic, things like that. Even though Ursaluna did get an evolution, I think they're gonna hold off on giving Bewear or any other bear Pokemon anything for now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say no. Tsareena.
Now this is one of those Rule 34 kind of mods.
I'm gonna say yes for this one.
Really?
So the only reason I say that is because they gave Lopunny a Mega Evolution. And they have to do it to one of these Rule 34 Pokemon. Think about Generation 4 and all of the Pokemon that got a Mega Evolution. And out of all the Pokemon in that generation, they gave it to Lopunny for what, bro?
Right?
Yeah, so they're going to handpick Tsareena and they're going to say, you know what, let's just give it a Mega Man. So I'm going to vote yes for that reason. Comfey, what do you think?
I forgot this bitch existed and it's a weird design too for me.
Okay, so I didn't forget this Pokemon existed. It's because it's been doing really, really good on the VGC side.
I bet that's what it was kind of built for.
It's surprisingly bulky. It's there to keep your engine alive, and it will do that with much success. I don't like its design. It's a good VGC mon, but I don't like it. Come on, bro. It's a fucking floral band. Final verdict.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oranguru.
I think he can get one.
Yes. So this is another one of those unique Pokemon where this is an orangutan. And there's no other orangutan Pokemon. Another thing about Oranguru is that it's used in VGC even today.
Oh, it uses Instruct?
Yeah, it's paired with Calyrex. Before it was paired with Calyrex, it was paired with Torkoal.
You can only take so much eruptions.
Yeah. Oranguru, I feel like this could happen.
You can see the potential, right?
I don't know what it would be exactly, but this one seems like it's a good candidate for a Mega.
Right?
Let's move on to its
version exclusive. The lesser known and less viable is.
Usually if we give one version exclusive something, we give the other one the nod. But in this case, man, I don't know. And I'm going to say no because there's just better fighting type Pokemon that you could give this to.
Alright, that's fine.
So if you're wondering why I'm not talking about Golisopod here, it's because I'm an idiot. And there's always this recurring trope in a podcast-like series, and it's no different here. I didn't hit record, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go solo on this one. I just wanted to throw that in there just in case you were wondering, wait, what the fuck happened to the other guy? But anyway, let's talk about Golisopod here. Golisopod is, it's a fantastic Pokemon, man. This is the ace of Guzma, the best, the absolute fucking best antagonist boss in Pokemon history. He is an asshole. He loves being an asshole, and he just doesn't give a fuck. And every time I see Golisopod, man, I think of my boy Guzma. I love him so fucking much. I love his team. I love Team Skull. They have the best theme. They have the best characterization. They have the best animation. They have the best everything going for them. Cyrus, Team Galactic, get the fuck out of here. Team Plasma, who gives a fuck? It's all about my boy Guzma and his Team Skull compatriots. And even though Golisopod is part of his subordinates, I don't think I could give this guy a Mega. I love this guy. I think he's so fucking cool. He sounds like a demon in the fucking anime, but he just looks complete to me. And because of that, I'm just gonna have to say no for now. Palossand. Now, I don't see a Mega for Palossand. What I do see for Palossand is a Gigantamax form. A Gigantamax form where he turns into a life-size castle complete with a moat and everything that goes along with it. I feel like that's the approach Pokemon is going to do in the future, but as of now, I just don't see my boy getting a Mega. Moving on to Pyukumuku. I think when Pyukumuku first came out, nobody really liked Pyukumuku, but as time went on, it got sort of a cult following, and I became a member of that cult because I kind of like this design. But aside from that, like, come on. Are they going to give Pyukumuku a Mega? It's just not going to happen, in my opinion. I'm actually surprised seeing Silvally this early. I thought he would be slotted later on in the decks, but the thing of it is, Silvally is always going to have a mark against him, and that mark is going to be bootleg Arceus. I like that Silvally is an amalgamation of different body parts, and maybe in the future we're going to see all these different body parts in actual Pokemon. Silvally, in terms of a Mega though, I personally don't see it. I think it may get treatments when Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun and Moon is inevitably remade, but right now I just don't see it getting a Mega. Minior is actually one of my favorite Pokemon for some reason. I really like its shiny. It's incredibly hard to get, and if they ever decide to make a Pokemon game set in space, Minior is essentially just going to act as the Zubat of those games. It's just going to be everywhere. But that's the role Minior is going to take. I don't see this one getting a Mega, and that's all I could really say for now. Komala is one of those Pokemon that exists. I do feel that it may get something when Pokemon decides to do the Australia-based region, but for now, I feel that it's always just going to remain in this state of its evolution. I don't think it's going to Mega, and I don't think it's going to evolve anytime soon. And it sucks that I'm immediately dismissing it because I do believe this is the only koala Pokemon in existence, but what could you really do with it, is my question. I think the answer is not much. So I'm going to move on to the version exclusive Turtonator. And Turtonator Turtonator, in my opinion, is a very unique design. I love all the sharp edges, and it was just so beautifully animated in the anime, man. Despite it being not a very good Pokemon, I think it makes up for it in its design, and sometimes that's all a Pokemon needs to do. And maybe I'm only defending it because there's this bias towards it, although I am just gonna have to say I don't think it's gonna get a Mega. That's unfortunate because I like this one. I really like this one, but that's just the way I see it. Togedemaru. I know there's a lot of people that most likely like Togedemaru as a Pokemon, but if you've listened to any of the previous conversations I've had regarding Pikachu clones, none of them have gotten a Mega. And the same is going to hold true with Togedemaru here. And while I do think Dedenne is still the worst Pikachu clone in my opinion, Togedemaru is kind of on par with it. When you compare it to the mandatory electric Pokemon of the generations, it always falls short, but that's all I could really say about Togedemaru. Mimikyu, on the other hand, okay, so I'll put it like this. Mimikyu is, in my opinion, one of the best designs ever made. And right off the bat, I'm going to say that this one will get a Mega in my opinion. I don't know if anyone's ever seen Ben 10, the original Ben 10. There was this episode where Ben had to overcome his fear of clowns with Zombozo, and he did that with Ghost Freak. Ghost Freak unveiled what was beneath his cloak, and it utterly scared Zombozo. Zombozo was terrified about what he saw. And in the back of our heads, we always wondered what the fuck was underneath Ghost Freak that scared Zombozo so much. And later on, we would find out that that form existed. And the same sort of mystery is here with Mimikyu. What the fuck is under Mimikyu? And I feel that for its Mega, they should unveil what is underneath Mimikyu and have that be its Mega. I also just kind of want to mention that I love it shiny. In my head canon, the shiny is just the Mimikyu cloth, but it's been washed out by the sun and many elements. And so it's this faded representation with its grays and muted appearance. And it's simply a fan favorite. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say yes, absolutely, it deserves a Mega. Bruxish is a Pokemon I want to dismiss immediately. But if you would have asked me even 3 years ago if Basculin deserved anything, I would have said no. But because Basculegion exists, I want to give Bruxish something. Not a Mega, but something. Like an evolution. The Basculin treatment. I don't exactly know what that would be, but it needs some sort of boost. Because I know a lot of people hate its design, but I love the color scheme, and I feel like they can make this lackluster fish Pokemon into something that's at least worth considering. So I'm sorry, Bruxish. No Mega for now. The thing about Drampa is, if Gumshoos is the representation of Donald Trump, Drampa is Joe Biden. This typing is what Dunsparce should have been, but we got to Dunsparce, and I don't mind that Pokemon, but it is what it is. Drampa is another version exclusive where I just don't see it getting a Mega, and as much as I try to build a case for it in my head, I simply can't do that. Whether it's lack of imagination or otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of move on. Okay, scenario. If I ever go out in public and someone comes up to me asking me Pokemon trivia like you see on Instagram Reels, like you see on TikTok, if someone asks me to name a set amount of Pokemon and Delmise is slotted somewhere in there, I'm gonna fail. I'm not gonna get the $1 they give me. And that's usually what Delmise is. It's a Pokemon that you forget about until you see it and you're like, oh yeah, Delmise, I know that Pokemon. And even if it's forgotten about oftentimes, I still think its design is pretty cool, man. I love it shiny, it's red. But with that being said, it's just kind of less cool Aegislash. As of now, I feel that it's just gonna remain as is. So, no Mega. Kommo-o, it's a Pokemon I feel bad for. Because in the roster of pseudo-legendary Pokemon, Kommo-o is always the one that gets shafted in some fashion. But its typing is what really holds it back. Dragon fighting. And yes, you could say that about Hydreigon, where it's 4 times weak to Fairy. But Hydreigon has utilities that Kommo-o here just doesn't have. And so because of that, I feel they need to give Kommo-o something. I don't know if that's necessarily a Mega, but it needs any kind of boost, really. Whether that comes in a new form, or by way of a gimmick, it really needs to get that extra boost. And as much as I feel that a Mega would suit that, I just don't think it's going to get a Mega for now. Maybe in the future. This is one I can be wrong about, but I'm just going to have to say no for now. Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, Tapu Fini. There's a reason why I'm saying all their names in order, and I think you could guess why. It's because I don't believe that any of them are going to get a Mega. I think they're just too specific to that region. That being Alola. And I will admit that it just kind of sucks that I'm eliminating them just like that, because I really like these Pokemon. I love their shinies especially. Again, one of the very few rare black shinies there are in the game. But having a cool shiny doesn't mean that you're going to get a Mega. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no. I'm not sure how many people are going to agree with that decision, but I'm just going to have to carry that and move on for now. Solgaleo. And while I'm talking about Solgaleo, I want to talk about Lunala as well. Solgaleo and Lunala are a special case when it comes to legendary Pokemon. They have to evolve to get to this point, which I think prior to this was unheard of. And while some like that and others don't, I side with the people who do like that because it gives legendary Pokemon an extra bit of a layer that they didn't have previously. And seeing them evolve as the story progressed really made their final form introduction a sight to behold, in my opinion. The shinies, again, they just look really fucking cool. I love the red, especially on Lunala, and maybe that's just some bias, but I think just the color scheme just works better on it. And because these Pokemon are known to evolve, I feel like they just might have the capability to evolve further into a Mega. Not just that, Solgaleo and Lunala, they develop a relationship with humans. They developed a relationship with Lily. If we follow the lore of Mega Evolution, a partnership must form in order for you to evolve into a Mega. And because of the relationship demonstrated in the past with Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, I feel like these just might get it. I can be wrong because their design does seem finalized, but that's what I'm going to side with. And that's my reasoning. Nihilego, Buzzwole, Pheromosa, Xurkitree, Celesteela, Kartana, Guzzlord, Necrozma, Naganadel, Stakataka, and Blacephalon. I don't think these set of Pokemon are going to get a Mega Evolution. The only thing that they're going to do with Ultra Beasts in the future is just add additional Ultra Beasts. The roster of Ultra Beasts is going to increase, but I do not believe that they're going to give these Pokemon a Mega Evolution. It would be cool as fuck, but realistically, if I'm on the Pokemon board and I look at these Pokemon, they kind of look like Mega Pokemon already. But I don't want to immediately dismiss them like I did the Tabus. So I'm just going to talk about each individual one for just a tad bit. I thought when Lusamine fused with Nihilego, that was as anime as Pokemon has ever been, and I fucking loved it, man. I think Buzzwole reminds me of Bane from Batman, and this is the actual Pokemon Bane would have as a trainer. Pheromosa had that sick-ass battle with Bewear in the anime, and even though she lost, man, the animation was incredible and I loved it. Xurkitree is an Ultra Beast that many people don't like, and I understand that, but at the very least, it's unique, and I like it just on that merit. Celesteela was seen everywhere in the competitive field. Its design is fucking ridiculous. Kartana is one of the most famous grass-type Pokemon there's ever been. It's known to KO Pokemon, get a beast boost from it, and just sweep teams like crazy. Guzzlord, it doesn't look like it belongs in a Pokemon game. It's crazy everywhere you look on its design. But that's kind of what I like about it, and I kind of love it for that reason. Necrozma is a sick-ass design, but it's also the vehicle towards Ultra Necrozma. And that battle is one of the most memorable things Pokemon has ever done, in my opinion. Ultra Necrozma, not just in its design, but in its power and how it was animated, is just so sick as fuck, man. I think I remember seeing a compilation of people just going up against Ultra Necrozma and then just getting completely swept because they were ill-prepared for the occasion. And that's one of those, not just Pokemon things, but gaming things that kind of inspires you to go play that, to go face it, to go confront it, to overcome it. And it's a feeling that you rarely get from Pokemon anymore. A challenge in the main story. And Ultra Necrozma is always going to have that. to its name. Naganadel is obviously a Pokemon that you remember from the anime. Ash uses it, Ash bonds with it, and it's by far one of the most unique Pokemon Ash has ever caught. Not just that, man, the design is just so fucking cool, dude. And it's shiny. Oh man, the shiny, dude. It's meant to look like a wasp, and it's so sick as fuck, dude. Stakateka doesn't belong in Pokemon. It belongs in Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, or Breath of the Wild. It just feels like it would be a creature that lives in that world. I would say it's Guardians adjacent in a sense. Blacephalon is a Pokemon that not a lot of people like, and that's understandable, but I do like it, and I think it's cool. Kind of reminds me of the Bomb Devil from Chainsaw Man. And with all that being said, again, I just don't see these Pokemon getting a Mega. Magearna. Magearna is a Pokemon that I don't think is going to get a Mega. I'm just going to say that immediately. I kind of wish I could say more about it, but but that's it, man. Maybe they might do the Diancie thing where they do give it a Mega. But in my opinion, I kind of just don't see that happening. So I'm just gonna say no. Marshadow Marshadow is a Pokemon I want to like. It's a Pokemon I want to like a lot. But it's a mythical that just sort of exists. It's a mythical that didn't receive enough spotlight, in my opinion. I do believe this is the first fighting ghost type Pokemon, and it's unique for that reason. I wish they would have done more with it than having its color change when it attacks. This is a Pokemon that would benefit from having a form change, in my opinion, and maybe then it would have more relevance, but it didn't do that, so I'm just gonna have to say no for now. Zeraora is a Pokemon that I actually remember most from Sword and Shield. I think it was an announcement that Pokemon made where they said, hey, there's this certain amount of Zeraora that players should defeat in order for us to distribute a shiny Pokemon. But I don't see how this one would get a Mega, which again sucks because every time we get to the end and we start talking about mythicals, we rarely decide on a Mega evolution for some of these Pokemon. I'm sorry, Zeraora. I like your design, man, but I'm just, again, gonna have to say no. And this is the final Pokemon I'll be talking about. Melmetal is it's a Pokemon I didn't know whether it was Generation 7 or Generation 8, but for the sake of this discussion, I'm just gonna say Generation 7. I really like its design. I just think it's one of the more unique Pokemon ever made. I love the method by which you obtain it, and unlike a Marshadow, Melmetal is one of those mythicals that did get the spotlight of a lot of love from Game Freak themselves, but their attention isn't forever, and Melmetal's spotlight has already been turned off, in my opinion. Therefore, I'm gonna have to say no for a Mega on Melmetal, which concludes this generation of Pokemon.